Today we are visiting or touring the haunted Willis House in Willis, Michigan.
The house is in a, I apologize for where the house looked. This was a last minute thing to do tours. And we just tried to cover up as best as we could out here. This was originally a doctor's office at some point in time. The house was built in 1855 or 6. They paid taxes on the house in 1856 for the first time. And the Albin family built the house. They sold it to the Finneys. And Mr. Finney, around 1870, 1880, Mr. Finney died in the parlor sitting in a chair. His wife died in the house a week later. They're both buried out there where the trees are all grown up out there. And I've been meaning to clean it up because we found a rock that had 3 initials carved in it. So and one of the last ones was F, so I know that's where the Finneys were buried out there. So at one point in time, when I get time, I got to clean that out and find that rock again and put it back where it was supposed to go. But anyway, this is a doctor's office. And,
Don, are you downstairs?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry, there's 2. I didn't know. Sorry.
You didn't know what? Oh, okay. Did you folks?
I always loved this.
Yeah, I'll take the money.
There's 3, so just.
Okay. So anyway, I'm just saying how the Albin family built the house around 1855, 1856. They sold it to the Finneys. The Finneys died in the parlor. He died in the parlor. His wife died somewhere in the house a week later. And so then they sold the house to the Martz family that Martz Road's named after because they owned all this property back here. They started the Detroit Brewery. This was their summer home. And they had a lot of parties and stuff out here. They were party people. And they would have dances out here on the weekends sometimes. They'd string lights, put down plywood out there for people to dance on and stuff. So it was a happy place to be. They ran booze out during Prohibition that they made in the basement here, and they were somehow connected, I'm sure, to the Purple King in Detroit because their granddaughter told us that they were out here working in the yard one day and some guy stopped by. And they invited him in for supper, and he came in for supper, and I guess, you know, free beer and everything. So they asked him, "You want to spend the night?" And he says, "Yeah, sure, but I got to get up real early in the morning because I got business I got to take care of up north." So he got up real early in the morning and left, and then they found out that he had murdered somebody. The body was in the trunk of the car, and it was out here in the driveway all night, and he was going up north to bury it. Sherry told me, said, "Now, people are wanting to come see the house. Don't bother everybody telling all the stories of the house." And I said, "I ain't got time to tell all the stories of the house. There's so much stuff about this house that's happened. When we bought the house, the first week we had it, I got a load of furniture and I brought it in over here in the dark. I didn't know anything about the house. I pushed it over in the corner. As I'm going out that back door, I reach for the door handle, and the hair still stands up on my arms when I tell that story. I reach for the door handle and I hear "good night" in the back room, and I thought, "Oh, I must have heard that. That's not possible." And so I didn't tell Sherry about it. So the lady across the street says, "We're fixing the yard out and fixing the fence so that I can bring the dogs over." And the lady says, "You know your house is haunted." And Sherry says, "No." And I'm sitting thinking, "I know." But anyway, she said that she spent one night in this house, and she was 15 years old. Her girlfriend was 15 years old. She woke up in the middle of the night and her girlfriend was floating over the bed.
Oh.
And she screamed. The father comes running in, and She's back on the bed. Father says, that's impossible. You can't happen. There's no way that can happen. And he just blowed it off. About a week later after that, he woke up with his nose on the ceiling, and they moved out that week. They done the second exorcism on the house. Did anybody see Nick Groff's Ghost Walker show? Okay, well, there was one room in the house. The house is friendly, and we got a bunch of Caspers in here. We got pictures of most of them, but there was one room that's around the back. I keep boarding it up. I will never open it up again. I opened it up several times. The dogs would go to the edge and bark their little butts off, but they wouldn't go in there. And Nick Groff went out there to get some kind of machine, and he could actually converse with the ghost. And they didn't sound too friendly. So I keep that boarded up, and I ain't never gonna open it up again. But anyway, that was the doctor's waiting room. This was his office where he operated on people. I heard they done a lot of illegal abortions in here. And I found one letter back in here that some poor girl had wrote her boyfriend because he had, she got pregnant, and he just walked off, and she couldn't understand why. If you love me, did you, you know, you won't have nothing to do with me, you won't write me back. She was, this poor girl was just absolutely heartbroken. And I thought, well, that's really sad because, you know, people just not as responsible. That poor girl, she was out here writing her heart out in that letter, and it just almost brought me to tears reading the thing. But anyway, this is the old part of the house. It was put on in 1868 by the Catholic Church. Like I said, excuse a mess. Everything downstairs is just where we put our junk. Not much has happened in this room, but in front of the furnace we had a game camera set up, and we recorded several images of people. Right in front of the furnace right there, we got a picture of the nude torso of a woman. She didn't have any head, legs, arms, she just had the body. And another time we had some people put up a motion sensitive camera down there, and they walked away. It showed them walking away, and after they were gone, the screen came back on. You see an arm go around the camera and then go back, and then you didn't see anything else, and the people come walking back. In the back room out here, we call that the ghost room. And we have a picture of Ed. One psychic said it was Edward, another said he was Ed Wynn. So we just call it Ed.
Ed?
At any time, in 11 years, we've been showing the house to people. In 11 years, Ed has never disappointed us. If women like all went back in there without a man present, that's my shadow. Pitched on the butt, or somebody with their hair pulled.
Hair pull?
It was a great big huge, you can see the outline where the hole was. And right there is the center, that's the door that we replaced the one that was cut off down in the basement and put the windows back. But when we had the masons out and they was rebuilding this wall, they tore this whole wall down and rebuilt it. And when they rebuilt the wall, we know that this room was built in 1872 because they found a brick in the wall that some little kid had wrote 1872 in it when they made the bricks here on the property. But anyway, that was where the picture was taken of the ghost. But anyway, the masons came in here one day and they were working away, and it was raining outside. And I'm back in the kitchen drinking coffee like I usually do. And they come in there and says, "Hey, Don," says, "we're hearing tricycle bells in that room." And I says, "Probably the kids across the street playing outside." "No, we're hearing tricycle bells and we're hearing them in this room." I better, well, I ain't even got my hearing aids on today, so I can't hear for nothing. So I thought, well, I'll try to hear it. So I came in here and I'm sitting here listening, and I'm standing about where I am right now, and they were working on the bricks out here, and there's no windows in down here. And there's a fireball that shot through the window, and it went all the way down the length of the room, just about right here, and it went pow, just about as big as your fist, and it just went pow and exploded. We all go, "What the hell was that?" And I remember my dad telling me when he was little one time that he had seen ball lightning. That's the only thing I can figure was just real strange. This is where I see ball lightning for the first time at, and it came right straight through the window down here. So anyway, I didn't need no extra room in here, so we decided I promised the ghost that I'd put the house back like it was. So we rebuilt that wall, and with bricks that we salvaged out of the wall we tore down in the basement, on the outside we've got one layer of bricks. All the walls in the house here are 3 layers thick, and they're 13 inches thick. So if there's tornadoes come see us, and we'll keep
Got that on tape.
Now, is this a place guests can come and stay, or
Pardon?
is this a place
Yes.
guests?
We've got, let's see, 5 more bedrooms upstairs.
Oh wow.
So there's no shortage of space in here. Originally, the house, when the Catholic Church had it and closed that injury facility, and it was an old folks home,
Yeah.
a lot of people died in this, a lot of people. It was 14 bedrooms, real small ones, and 8 bathrooms. And so, well, we don't need that much room, so we tore down a bunch of walls. We moved hallways over, moved rooms around. So,
How long have you all owned this place?
pardon?
How long have you all owned this place?
13 years.
13 years. We grew up around the corner and we always
Oh,
looked
did
at
you
it.
really?
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
my whole
yeah.
life. I'm like,
Have you
what
heard-
is inside
Have
that
you heard
house?
any stories about it?
Not a whole lot, honestly. We just heard it was haunted, and like people, like one time my dad was like, "We're gonna buy that place one day."
One lady told me that her mother and father told her that when she walked down the street at night, don't walk in front of the house, walk on the other side of
It
the
was
street.
always really eerie.
Now-
So
Real eerie at
evidently-
night around here.
Now, are the arches there, is that like an opening? Where the,
That, this was the old part of the house, and there's another room on the other side that's full of junk right now. But those were the windows and
the
well,
windows,
those are the
okay.
windows
I
and
was
stuff.
wondering,
For
cause,
works in progress. This is the room that the gentleman asked me not to say his name, but he was the one that woke up with his nose on the ceiling. I called him up. I got his name from his sister. She had a bad experience here, but that's too long of a story. But anyway, I called him up and I says, I'm Don. I'm living down the street in your old house. I just wondered if I could talk to you about the house. He said, no, don't mention my name about that house. I don't want nobody knowing anything about it, that I was ever here. You know, don't say a word about me and don't mention my name. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I didn't want to upset you. I just thought we could, you know, kind of trade information about stuff that's been happening. He says, oh yeah, like what? Oh, cool. So I started asking him, you know, about stuff, and he was asking me about stuff. And he said, yeah, there's a ghost out in back of the woods. Used to chase my daughters. I said, yeah, that's Larry. He's 11 years old, and we've got pictures of him. And they do EVPs, and they get a lot of information from that. And he's 11 years old. He's waiting for his mother to pass over, and so that was something that I was able to tell him. And he said, well, let me ask you something. Have you ever had anything fly at you in the house? And I said, fly at me? Like what? Well, I don't know, like silverware? No. So evidently they had a lot of bad experiences.
Wow.
There was a pot that raised up off the stove and slapped against the wall while they were cooking one time. It was just,
wow.
over
They
here is
must
the
like
daughter's.
you then.
This is the daughter's bedroom.
It's a pinky room.
I told Sherry, if you ever get a crow that comes in this room with all this glitter, it ain't never gonna leave.
Oh my goodness, beautiful.
It's coming along. Slow
You
but
said this
surely
is your
it's getting
daughter's
better.
bedroom?
Pardon?
You said this is your daughter's bedroom?
No.
No, it was the guy that in that
Oh,
room,
his
his
daughter's
bedroom.
bedroom, okay.
Curtains are cute. Little birds.
Yeah, this was, there was actually 2 daughters, and they both claimed they levitated. And there was a girl that lived down Gott Street that would walk to school with them every day or ride the bus, whatever. and she said that it was happening quite often, that they were floating over the bed and the father wouldn't believe them. So the father did tell me that when he had that second exorcism done on the house, that a lot of times he'd pull up in their driveway and it kind of looked like it was kind of like a misty veil over the house. He says after that second exorcism, it was gone. Sherry added a little artistic touch to the door. This is called painting while falling off a ladder. And I was sitting there thinking, I had original plans that I was going to stain these doors, but after she got paint all over, I thought, well, paint looks good too.
Pretty.
Just about everything we got in the house, we got a super good deal on. We didn't hardly pay full price for nothing. That bathtub we got for free. Wow. And we bought a signature bathtub, the one downstairs, and they mason or something dripped plaster in it, and it put a bad spot on it. So we called up the people that made it down at Signature Hardware, and they said, well, that bathtub's got a lifetime guarantee on it. And so really, says, well, so we'll replace it. We'll just send you another one. We said, well, what do we do with the old one? And he says, donate it to somebody. So we donated it to the Willis House Inn.
Smart.
So you're making this like a bed and breakfast type of thing?
We thought about it, and that was our originally plan, and that's why we called it the Willis House Inn, because there's a Willis House in Texas, and if you go online and look up Willis House, you'll get the one in Texas. So you have to look for the Willis House Inn. We have a website, the Willis House Inn, and if you want to see a really good story, Nick Groff is on YouTube. Season 1, episode 3, and it comes out to 13. You can remember it that way because 13 is real dominant in this house. And he came in here, and right on early in the night, he got something knocked his equipment over and broke it. If ghost hunters come in here, they come in here in the fall. We have like one a week, ghost hunt, and they have to bring a suitcase full of batteries with them, because where a battery will last 8 hours, it lasts an hour in this house.
Wow.
So, except this was originally one big room, but I had a big argument going with the building inspector when he came out, and I wired the house, and I got 20 amp on this and 14 amp over here. He said, you can't have that. You have to have either all 14 amp or you have to have all 20 amp. He says, so you're going to have to pull that wiring back out of the wall and redo it. I said, I ain't pulling that wiring back out of the wall. And he said, well, the only way around it is you have to put a wall in here. I was fine, I'll put a wall in. And then we hit on the idea, oh hell, that'd be nice for a closet. So we got a closet on the other side.
That's cool. Oh yeah,
So
it's a walk-in closet.
yeah, walk-in closet.
Moly.
So, but like I said, nothing in the house is actually fully finished. Everything's got to have trim and everything else. So, but we're getting there. And you see what we looked like 2 years ago. We still had a lot of bare walls and stuff, and we're getting her done.
That bathroom is gorgeous.
Is it a bathroom?
Yes.
That's Sherry's bathroom.
Are we allowed to look at it?
Sure, go ahead. I don't tested every year for these cancers. She gets a leap ahead on it, and so she can start treatment early until it gets to the point that they can't cure it anymore. So anyway, she had all of her relatives notified, and we met relatives she didn't even know existed, but they all got tested for Lynch syndrome, so probably saved a whole lot of lives. And he said, well, we should have a family reunion. And I said, cool. And so we had Sherry's house at the time over on at Ypsilanti in the subdivision, and there was no room to park or nothing. We had all these people compiling in. The neighbors was all mad and everything. And, nobody could spend the night. And I told Sherry, you know what? I wish to God that we had a big house and we could have all your relatives come up here and we can have a good time. Nobody complained about where you park it because we have plenty of room to park. And we can have everybody get up in the morning. We can all have breakfast together and stuff. And that's going to be really cool. And it did come to be. We have some big family reunions for breakfast when these people come here. But anyway, her one cousin Lionel, he had just lost his wife when we got in contact with him. And we told Lionel, says, we're going to build you a bedroom on the house because he is a super nice guy. And this will be your room that you stay in when you come to see us. He says, what color would you like it painted? He says, that's my wife's favorite color right there, sea foam or something, I think they call it. But anyway, Lionel says, when you get your first bedroom, spare bedroom done in that house, I'm gonna be your first paying customer there. And I says, no, Willis ain't gonna pay nothing here. He says, yeah, I'm gonna be your first paying customer. Sherry says, well, you're not going to pay, but the first bedroom is going to get done. It's going to be the ghost room downstairs. He said, when you get your second bedroom. So, he was a character.
That's
Well,
funny.
that was
That's a nice color.
Yeah.
teams in there, and every room in the house, you'll all be picking up EVPs.
So say John's name again.
Huh?
Say John's name again.
I'm sorry.
Say John's name again.
John Tenney.
See if that affects the light bulb.
Oh.
That was a flash.
Yeah, that happens, that bathroom downstairs by the ghost room. It takes notion every once in a while.